Look at 3.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Yeah, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you just a little more. Sorry, Okay, well, I try to be as rule of thirds as I can, but... whatever, sometimes you just can't get there. Whatever.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing well. Yeah, I know we were on a little bit of a hiatus. Just kind of life got in the way, but you know what? We are back. Not in black. We're not back in black.
No.
Because we're not AC/DC.
No. And we're technically not wearing black.
And we're not Men in Black either.
No.
But we... Random, I know. But we are back with another exciting episode. And so let's get right into it. Because on tonight's episode, we're going to sort of build off a theme that we started the last time we did an episode. And that last episode, if you remember, we did... sort of sports that were well equipped to handle social distancing.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about golf, I think we talked about baseball, tennis, like a bunch of those different sports that would hold up well to the social distancing aspect of things. But tonight what we wanted to go the completely opposite way and talk about sports that just do not fit into social distancing at all. Like the sports where you can where you really can't achieve social distancing, just given the nature of the whole sport. So I mean, and there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, a lot, yeah.
There are a lot of them that come to mind.
You guys probably can already think of like a few. Like once we mentioned
right
this,
off, right off the top of your head. I mean, it's probably like at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Immediately, but So Kyle, I wanted to kick it off with you, and I was not intentionally trying to be punny there, given what we're about to talk about. But what are a couple of sports that, you know, when you think about sports that are not really well adept at social distancing, what sort of comes to mind for you?
Well, easily the first one. I'm sure you 100% agree with this. Is football.
Yeah.
American football specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not the European, kind of, aka soccer.
Yeah. Which we did talk about last episode.
Yeah.
We did mention how it was, I would say it's a pretty decent sport to do social distancing, but American football, not so much.
No, not at all.
No, like there's just, it's a contact sport. Like they call it a contact sport for a reason. So It's like you can't really... Like it's an oxymoron saying we're gonna social distance in this contact sport.
The whole like goal of sports is like to tackle people.
Yeah.
Like you can't tackle people in social distance.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tackle you, but I'm gonna stay 6 feet away. I'm gonna hold my hands out at 6 feet, and then you're gonna just fall down. That's tackling in social distance.
Exactly. Like, I guess you could maybe kind of achieve it if you attempt to do, like, flag football, for example.
Yeah.
Like, that could be a little more feasible.
Still, you're making contact, though, with the other person, so it's still kind of hard. That's
true. You're right. You still got to get close to them to just pull off the flag, so it's like, okay, whatever. But, I would say football, definitely the other one, because I'm thinking of the Creed and Rocky movies. You know where I'm going to go with this.
Boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, because, it's... I
mean... If you don't hit each other, you could socially distance. Because aren't they usually, like, if they're, sort of squaring off with each other, like, yeah, you could be 6 feet apart for that, but...
like an air punching match or something like that?
Yeah. How many air punches who can land the most air punches? I think at that point it just becomes the fist bumping the dance. Just like...
just like you have to coordinate, like, see who air punched who first or something like that. It would just be like, what?
It would be very confusing.
Oh man, but Yeah, I would say that those two were pretty major ones. Did you have any other ones that you wanted to?
Yeah, I would say the one that like also for me, like there are two that also jump out for me, sort of off the top of my head. Besides the ones that you just mentioned, which were really good ones, wrestling is sort of like the first one that comes like because wrestling again, by definition, you literally are like grappling. It's literally like this. Like this is not social distancing. This is the complete opposite
definitely not
of social distancing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's not possible, humanly possible to social distance during wrestling. Like it can't happen. No, it can't happen.
It's a full contact sport. Like it
really is
contact, but this is like full contact. Like you cannot. You have to be like connected to the person pretty much at all times at this point. It's even it's even less feasible than football.
Right. Exactly. No. Exactly. Like football is you kind of like take a break. Take a break, or like you said, you can like air block people or whatever the case may be. But like wrestling, no. The sport would not work.
No.
It would not be wrestling if there wasn't like that physical contact element to it. Like it just wouldn't make sense. So, and the other one that kind of comes to mind for me is basketball. Because I feel like for basketball, yes, like you could argue like, oh well, you could spread the floor and stuff like that, but like if you're gonna play true defense on somebody, you're gonna be up close to them. You're gonna be right in their face, guarding them, and there's like rebounding, and there's like just all these different things that you do playing basketball that just don't fit well with social distancing. Again, basketball is probably like the least most social distance. The least, or the sport that like you could maybe social distance the most out of the sports we just mentioned, but still, I mean, if you're really gonna play the sport correctly, there's gonna be some getting in your space, getting in your face aspects to it. So I feel like it would not do well.
Like forget about it.
Yeah. It just like it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No. Definitely, I would say more feasible than like football and wrestling and boxing, of course. But like, still not the best. Like, it's not the top. No. Like, it's not the top like social distancing sport.
It really isn't. Like I said, like just the defensive aspect of it alone. Like, if you want to, like I said, if you just want to play true defensive basketball, you're gonna have to go up close. It just is part of the sport. Excuse me. Are there any other sports that
MMA.
you want to touch on? Yeah, MMA.
Basically for the same
reason, any
wrestling
fighting
and boxing.
I feel like, can we just put out any fighting sports? Any sports that involve fighting are not conducive to social distancing. That's true. Pretty much.
Although I would argue,
oh boy,
that
maybe karate.
But
because karate you have like all the solo moves and stuff like that, like solo karate.
But if you think about it, though, there's one fighting sport where it just popped in my head, and I'm like, this actually wouldn't be the worst sport to at least attempt to achieve social distancing. And distancing. I can't say that word right. Apparently,
say that word 3 times fast, or just say it 3 times period.
But I would say fencing. Because think about it this way.
Yes, because you can like sort of use the rods from 6 feet apart. Yeah,
and you're wearing masks.
Good point.
Right.
Good point. Yeah, the helmets. Yeah.
It's not going to like prevent you from. I'm not going to say it's like going to prevent you from getting COVID per se, because the masks are still made to be breathable, but you're wearing masks and you're not like literally on each other's body at that point. You are still getting. You don't want to be close to someone like when you're fencing. You want to at least have like a distance so you can at least So yeah, exactly. So.
Right. Yeah. No. Hey, listen. I did not even think of that, but yeah, that's a good one for the non-distance for the like good social distancing category. But yeah, definitely. Any other real fighting, like hand-to-hand fighting sports, are definitely not going to be in the social distancing category there for sure. But yeah, I think those are some good ones. I mean, there's others. I mean, like hockey. I feel like is kind of on more on that like non-social distancing aspect. Like
Yeah.
lacrosse to a certain extent. Like I mean, again, a lot of sports like that involve checking and
Oh yeah,
all that good stuff.
Yeah, they're more in like the middle. Like like you can try to do it, but it might not be like the first like the best social distancing sport.
It would be difficult, especially for hockey.
Yeah.
For sure. But no, those are some good ones. So well done. And if you guys have any thoughts on the sports we mentioned or other ones that we may have missed in terms of again, why sports do not hold up well with social distancing, feel free to drop us a comment. Whether on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, smoke signals, the letter. All that good stuff. But so now it's time to sort of transition on to the second half of our episode, which is our two most favorite segments, the Sue's Reviews and Robbie's pre-show food recap.
Oh, yes,
or food review, I should say. I'm going to start tonight because I can. And for my pre-show food review, we're actually going to do one that we haven't done in a while. It's been a long time since we've been to this place.
Oh, yeah.
And so tonight where we went was this place in Davis Square called Flatbreads. And it's actually really cool because, first of all, the food there is amazing. Like,
oh my God,
I had the salad and like this like cheese flatbread, which was like so good. I mean, it just to die for. I know Kyle had the meat flatbread, which also looked really good.
Yeah, it was the carne special. It had like meatballs and like jalapeno peppers, and it was great. And it was cool because that particular pizza, it's one of their like rotating flavors that they have, and they had like part of it had like tomato sauce in it, but also like the other part was like white. It was like a white pizza mixed with tomato sauce, so I had like little spots of that. I thought it was really neat. Good touch.
Yeah, and I had their salad, which was really good.
Yeah. Everything's fresh there. So
yeah, and by the way, big shout out to our waiter.
Oh yeah,
Brian with a Y, who he loved Kyle's shirt. There were definitely some bromancing going on there over superheroes, and the fact that they both have Sousa in their last name.
Yeah.
And so, shout out to Brian. He was awesome. If you ever go there, see if Brian's working because he was cool, very. It was very enjoyable having him as our server. So thank you, Brian. If you're watching, not that you would be, but thank you for the great service. And also, I just wanted to throw out another shout out, a second shout out to CB Scoops in Medford. This is where we went for ice cream tonight, post dinner, pre-episode. Great spot, very good ice cream. They also have food there as well. So, like, if you want, sort of like a lunch or dinner / ice cream combo, they definitely do that. Just really, really good food. Really, really good ice cream, I should say.
They do specialize in desserts, so that's like their specialty.
Yeah, it's very good and was well worth it. So shout out to them and to Flatbreads for another tremendous on a couch talking sports meal. So now it's time to throw it over to my compadre here, my co-host Kyle himself, for another edition of the Sue's Reviews. Kyle.
All right. So, I guess now that we're on the subject of superheroes, I forget if I did this review or not. If I did, I apologize, but I really like this, so you know what? I'll talk about it again.
Screw it. Just do it, Kyle. Just do it. Who cares? Either way.
So I wanted to talk about this game I beat a few months back, Batman Returns. I'm looking at the Batman on my shirt, I think on this side right here, and It's a great video game. It's based on the movie of the same name, which came out in '92. It's actually a sequel to the very first Batman, which came out in the '80s. They're both led by Michael Keaton. That was his era of Batman, and it was just fantastic. And the game is so great. It just captures that essence. It is a Super Nintendo side-scrolling beat 'em up. So you are the Batman. You have all his like really great moves from the movies and the comics and everything. You get to use his gadgets like the grappling hook and the batarang. The batarang is a great weapon too. Definitely recommend using it because it stuns enemies. So it actually gives you the drop as the enemies are like kind of coming on screen. It's a great side scroll. It's just like a great like kind of like it's very much like an arcade style beat 'em up in the vein of like the X-Men series game, The Simpsons even, like I'm sure you've played that, where your character kind of goes up, like he can go up and down the screen, but you mostly go from side to side and you beat up enemies along the way. Unfortunately, the only negative thing I have about this game is that there's no co-op, but it's whatever. A lot of the games have co-op, so you can always play like Final Fight, I think, and Double Dragon. Those games all have co-op, so it's whatever. It's one game in a huge series of fighting style, beat 'em up style games. So it's not really that big of a critique, but everything else is just great. You can run through the game in like half an hour because that's the way those games were meant to be played. You just kind of play them in one sitting. But it is pretty challenging. Like it's not that easy to get through the levels. Sometimes you do fight through. You do face these bosses along the way, and they're very much based on the movies. Like the game is surprisingly faithful to the movie. Like they do add some extra sections because Batman is actually not in the movie for as long as you'd think, which is kind of interesting. So they had to actually like make up certain sections of the game just to kind of fill the runtime. But it's understandable. Games do that a lot. But it's a great game, and yes, you do fight Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman and Danny DeVito's Penguin. And there's also some cool levels, too. There's some cool kind of like platforming, side-scrolling levels, too. And they even have a driving level where, yes, you get to control the Michael Keaton Batmobile. It's great. It's amazing. I love it. And it adds a little variety to the game. So, yeah, if you're a Batman fan, or even if you're just an arcade beat-em-up type of fan, then I highly recommend that game. Batman Returns, Super Nintendo, do it.
Very good. Thank you, Kyle, for another rousing review. Always appreciated. Yeah. So before we go tonight, I did just want to do one last teaser because I can. So for those of you who have obviously watched this show for a long time, you'll know that one of our recurring guests, good friend of ours, is our pal Doug. And Doug and I, as you know, have our own little show that we do on the side called the Sports Blitz. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. Kyle's been a guest on the Sports Blitz. It's a really good time. So what I'm here to tease is the fact that the circle of shows within shows is finally closing because Doug and Kyle have a show in the works, folks. That's right. I'm here to break some news for you right here, right now. Kyle and Doug are putting together a show of their own, completing the On a Couch, Sports Blitz, just everything circle of shows. And it's very exciting. I'm not going to give away really any more details, just the fact that they have a show that will be coming soon, and I, for one, could not be more excited to see it.
And thank you so much. And
hopefully you don't mind me blowing up your spot.
No, thank you so much. No, thank you for doing that. I know Doug would appreciate it very much as well. And I will just leave you with this hint. It's not going to be about sports this time.
No.
Because we already have like
we already have the sports, but we already have On a Couch talking sports. We sort of covered the sports bases ad nauseum here. Yes.
So that's the only hint I'm going to leave you. So you can always try to guess what you think Doug and I are going to talk about. Yeah, yes, it's not going to be sports related. So
if you've watched On a Couch talking sports with Doug on it, or if you've watched the Sports Blitz with Kyle's guest appearances, if you haven't, you should. You could probably kind of figure out where we're going with this a little bit at least, but it's going to be fun. And just another little brief teaser, there is a chance that a certain co-host of On a Couch Talking Sports that is not Kyle might be making
Which one?
yeah.
Wait, hold on, which co-host?
The guy over here.
Yeah.
Wait, I think we're talking about me.
Yeah, this guy,
yeah,
that's
we're
right.
talking about me. Sorry. Might be making a little special guest appearance again to sort of complete the cycle there, but not gonna put much more. We're gonna leave you waiting with bated breath. I don't know why I just went down like I don't know why I just went down to a whisper there, but no, very excited for Kyle and Doug. So
Thank you.
it's gonna be awesome to watch. I'm already giddy with anticipation. So speaking of our show, that is going to do it for this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Thanks as always, everybody, for tuning in. As always, we really appreciate it, and we'll be back with another episode much sooner than like in between the last couple episodes. But very excited to be back. And as always, that's Kyle. I'm Robbie. This is The Couch, and we'll see you next time on a Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.
Sorry, Robbie's on this episode. Just me. Hi, guys. This is On a Couch Talking Kyle. It's just Kyle talking. And you keep thinking Robbie's going to be here, but no, he's not going to be in this episode. Sorry. So, I just want to say hi. How you doing? Yeah, Robbie's really he's really going for that cameo appearance, but it's not going to go. It's not going to happen. Nope, just going to pretend nothing's happening. Yep, just going to, just ignore the phone going off and just whatever the hell is going on back there. Oh, God, no. No. Oh, Jesus Christ. No.
God.
Oh,
God.
See ya.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how we do it, people.